So, physiologically, energetically, they kind of go hand in hand, but the non-physical is more powerful. So, the universe is our relation with each other. It's made or consists of expanding or contracting beings. Having said this, it's completely human, 100%. If the human life here, which we don't really see much, it's full of the non-human occupation, which is just programming. It's not awakened yet. If they start to see aliens, which are most likely synthesized versions of a human, it's a I would like to say a drone. It's not a good sign, especially if we're talking about the grays, the ones that, those are just like drones that belong to the enemy. Now, when I say the enemy, babes, the universe is comprised of expanding and contracting beings. The enemy contracts. Now, contracts or expands into what? Well, it's love, awareness, conscious awareness into even more and more conscious awareness. It's about accessing the unconscious mind, which is the more superior one. I might make a video separate on that to make you understand that we're just talking about programming, and everything that we can see is consciousness. But that's not all there is. There is a vast ocean from which it all came from, and that ocean is the unconscious mind. We're talking about upper level communications here. We're all alive and well in the universe, and we're operating. We're not talking about, well, how hard did they hit their head? You know, well, let's get a fucking an EMF reading on them. You know, but having said that, basically, if we're seeing aliens come in, they already know that we're not safe, not even for ourselves. Now, having said this, isn't it obvious to you that we're already being held captive by, now let me get the lingo right, lies. There isn't any aliens, but if you look at the word, lies are in there. So that's could be a factor. Now we could be living in a neighborhood, say that Earth is just one home. There could be a whole bunch of other forms of human life which are just programmed in a certain way, and they're living and doing different things. Here, it's a complete takeover. If you haven't noticed, it's a complete takeover. By who? Aliens. Lies. Something that, now, again, we might not be the only humans here. There is expanding and contracted beings that you can experience here on this plane. See, I experience it as, indeed, it's a vibrational frequency. Now, if you're ignorant that maybe of your gifts. Okay, now let's talk about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, who had a very shiny nose, and all of the other reindeer would laugh and call him names, and they wouldn't let him join in reindeer games. Well, who gives a fuck? The fucking thing was born enlightened. And we live on a planet that does not even acknowledge the possibility that we're all born enlightened. And then the saying goes, a child knows the truth until they start believing what they're told. Getting back to the lies that have held us captive, obvious, we are already being held captive by the enemy, which is the non-human occupation. The non-human, you want to call them aliens? Fine! Whatever you're going to be happy with, but you're not going to be happy with it. You can watch their movies. Babes, this here, what I'm all of the technologies we have comes from. Now, I'm not going to say aliens. I'm just going to say the advancement that human beings are making out in outer space, and so much more going on. There's so much more going on. Here, it's being hijacked. It's being altered. They're making sure that they track down and monitor, and they keep under wraps all of the human beings who are benevolent. Hi, Jesus, was that you? Good God! What are you doing up there? This is a sacrifice. Tell Tesla that. Ain't no benevolent beings going to be making it here. What you'll see is more clamping down on an organism that isn't taking their freedom to become sovereign into soul, which, what is that language? Well, you could say they're not, they have disconnected so much from, let's say, their creator. Like, how do we exist here with the tools that we were given from who? Well, I have news for a lot of human beings out there that parade around about their biological intelligence, that they might have done that. No. You have a creator. And you have a profound responsibility to, this might be new, it might be old, but no, the shamans talked about the web of information that we're all connected to, which is the universe. Our hearts, if you have a beating one, this is where the information is coming in. And they see that we are on, if you're turned on, you're listening to this, you have no choice. Reality is your application. Reality is your app. That is the web. You stretch your hands out like this or like this, and it's outer space, right in between here and here, and repeating the words of Carl Sagan, space is not empty. It is filled with tiny wormholes, atoms. We could, like black holes, he says, we could end up somewhere, somewhere else in time. To me, he's talking about the fabric. Now, back away from the subject matter of space travel and all of this stuff and how it's really done. We don't know. We really don't know. You know, and so there's a lot of security, like in outer space and underground, or whatever you can call it, electrically, right, with machinery that does what for us? I say it's being sure to keep us in the dark, just like on the planet, like on the movie The Planet of the Apes, in the movie Planet of the Apes, where when the human finally makes an escape, and the apes are there doing something, who knows, they live in a dystopian lifestyle, right? But the human tries to make an escape, and he thinks he's free, but he comes across a massive hologram of fire. It scares the hell out of him at first, and it keeps them away from a certain area. That's what's going on. Could be, might be. Just listen, just wait for the next announcement.